After completing a non-stop Ben 10 marathon, I'm all out of popcorn and Ben Tennyson is all out of excuses. And it finds you, Benjamin Kirby Tennyson, as guilty as you can possibly be. At this point, the kid might as well change his catchphrase to "it's villain time" because the crimes he's committed are out of this world and guaranteed to earn him a lifelong stay in the Stony Lonesome. What is Ben's most favorite thing in the whole wide world besides fighting aliens and annoying his cousin Gwen? Well, he loves the sumo slammers, and he wanted to get his paws on the super rare gold sumo slammer card so bad that he robbed the M-Mart of all its sumo slammers cereal boxes. Then... Oh man, another red card. Gotcha! Gwen didn't hesitate to tattle on her doofus cousin, but ended up getting the blame herself because gray matter was small enough to hide from the angry store worker. But if Ben did get caught red-handed in the cereal aisle, he'd be arrested for shoplifting and sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined $2,500. The Omnitrix is not some kind of toy or fashion accessory unless you're at Toys R Us. It's the most dangerous, reckless device in the entire multiverse, especially when Ben selects Cannonball, who could have crushed thousands of people like ants when he fell to Earth from space. Terrorist Ben who could probably wipe out a small village when he turns into a literal tornado. And Big Chill who can freeze an entire road with his ice breath. Those codes seem all to be considered reckless endangerment, particularly the last one. Like, dang, I hope someone put up a road closed sign. 3 counts of the scrum had earned Ben a 3-year stay in jail and a $15,000 fine. Maybe he could raise the money by selling a ton of ice cubes, I don't know. But then again, I don't think many people would want to buy something made from an alien's breath, or anyone's breath for that matter. Well, Ben can't exactly be faulted for fighting back against a rabid giant hamster trying to kill him in Washington, B.C. He did something later on in the episode that can get him prosecuted for animal cruelty. Then Glenn and Grandpa Max followed Dr. Animo to the Natural History Museum. Mad about not winning an award for his work all those years ago, the mad scientist has invented a transmodulator that can mutate animals into scary giant versions of themselves. Dr. Animo brings a woolly mammoth back from extinction, and while Ben really should have been in all of this historical moment, he instead felt the need to start a fight with the hairy elephant for just standing there. Let's wrestle! The mammoth did hurt Ben back a couple of times, but since he provoked the fight, it's only fair that he gets charged with animal cruelty here. The crime would add another 5 years and $20,000 to his sentence. Grandpa Max could help Ben pay that off by selling his motorhome. Sure, it's a rust bucket, but it's an iconic rust bucket nonetheless. Super speed and super strength are just some of the powers that Ben can access with the Omnitrix, but he has others that are on another level of cool, literally. So yeah, Big Chill would make a great companion for Elsa, but what about Ben's other aliens? Well, Frankenstrike can strike bad guys with green lightning, and NRG is able to generate a magma eruption. There are several environmental laws Ben violated in those clips. NRG's magma eruption, for example, would have released harmful pollutants into the air, breaking the Clean Air Act. Big Chill's freezing could have potentially disrupted local weather patterns and destabilized the natural temperature of habitats, a clear violation of wildlife protection law. And lastly, Frankenstrike is guilty of breaking fire prevention laws, as every lightning strike he generates risks an outbreak of wildfire. Those are all serious crimes and would rack up a total of 5 years and 6 months in prison. And that doesn't sound too harsh in the grand scheme of things, but here comes the fine. $1,575,500. We just started this video and we already got fines in the millions. I guess Ben could easily pay that off though. I'm sure there are thousands of aliens out there who would pay any price for his precious Omnitrix. Remember the 2-part episode of Vengeance of Vilgax? Ben became so unbearably obnoxious and almost got the team killed with his genius idea to hack the Omnitrix. Well, Ben puts his feet up at home and hilariously fangirls over the new Sumo Slammers movie. The motion picture. Gwen and Kevin are almost getting killed by Serpent. Gwen scolds her cousin over the phone for bailing on their mission and he rushes to the scene. He transforms into Cannonbolt and turns the evil reptile into roadkill. But instead of then immediately asking if his friends are okay, he brags about all the awards he's been winning recently. Next we see Grandpa Max taking some new plumbers on a training mission. But when a planetary defense alert signals an alien heading toward Earth, it turns into the real deal. Vilgax announces his ugly presence to the people of Earth and challenges the protector of the planet to a trial by combat. The plumbers arrive at this point and the new recruits attempt to battle the alien warlord but get embarrassingly annihilated like the noobs they are. Vilgax vows to battle Ben 10 in a trial of combat, and if he doesn't show up, he will destroy planet Earth. Doesn't actually laugh. Just thought we could go for some suspense. Grandpa interrupts Ben's smoothie fight to warn him that Vilgax is back and will fight him in a Conqueror's Challenge. Gwen and Kevin start to worry about the battle, but our extremely humble warrior Ben thinks he's got it in the bag, even though he's barely defeated Vilgax in the old days. We defeated the Hybrid and saved the whole entire universe. We know. I still think you're gonna need an edge. Oh, I'm just shocked he used we instead of I. Kevin opens up the garage unveiling a large hacking machine they can use to hack the Omnitrix's system. Responsible Gwen says the idea is too risky, but Ben thinks if he can bypass the safeguards and unlock master control, then he'll be able to do anything with it. You ever think there's a reason they call them safeguards? If we get this working, I'll have full control of every transformation in the watch. Vilgax won't stand a chance. Kevin accesses the user interface, but Azabeth suddenly appears as a hologram and, like an angry parent, tells Ben how disappointed he is in him for trying to hack the device. He warns Ben to never tamper with its powers, but he doesn't listen and hacks the watch anyway, stupidly causing a very fiery system overload. Never mind that, it's overloading. Tilt the watch. It'll take too long. Run for it, both of you! Maybe I can... While the Omnitrix is stuck to Ben's wrist, the device still very much belongs to its creator, Azabeth. And so by hacking the system of a watch he does not own, Ben is guilty of hacking, and not the ethical kind. The penalty is actually super harsh, and Tennyson could be put behind bars for up to 10 years and fined $10,000. Hopefully that'll bring his ego down a couple of notches. If it doesn't, Gwen will need to throw some more smoothies at his head. Heat Blast was the first alien Ben transformed into after the Omnitrix got stuck on his wrist. Within seconds of becoming Fire Guy, he showed us why kids aren't allowed to play with fire. It's summer break and Ben is already off to a fun start with a painful wedgie and a cramping trip with the Queen of Cooties. He was hoping to eat burgers for dinner, but evil Grandpa Max will only be serving up dishes straight from hell on this vacation. If these don't sound good, I've got some smoked sheep's tongue in the fridge. You can't tell me Ben's grandpa wasn't the first villain of the show. Like, it's just practically child abuse. Annoyed at the very presence of his cousin, Ben takes a walk alone in the woods, moping about his ruined summer. Suddenly he sees a shooting star coming right at him. Better make that wish fast. Satellite or something. Yeah. What's doing that? Get off! Accepting that the space watch is stuck to him, Ben plays around with it and presses a button that transforms him into Heat Blast. He thinks he's on fire at first and starts majorly freaking out before realizing that 1, he's okay, and 2, he's looking more awesome than ever before. Ben starts experimenting with his new fire powers and commits his very first crime in the show, arson. Here goes. That's what I'm talking about. I'm liking it. Wait, stop! He'd blast stupidly tries to put the fire up by stepping on it, but this of course just fuels the flames even more. What a tool. Grandpa Max spots the fire from camp and immediately knows his grandson is the idiot who started it. Him and Gwen race to put the fire out, and you'd think tackling a forest fire would be a terrifying experience for a kid, but not Gwen. She's brave enough to tackle anything, even a real-life alien. Look, I know there's no reason to be scared. Say, I don't know what you are. You know what's good for you? Then, a literal fire monster ironically calls Gwen a freak, and his jerkiness makes her realize that Heat Blast really is her geekazoid cousin. He explains what happened with the watch and puts out the fire by creating another one to cancel it out. That huge forest fire has got to be one of the worst cases of arson I've ever covered on this channel. And that crime would earn Ben 12 years in prison and a $750,000 fine. What is Ben's scummiest moment? No, it's not slurping his smoothies obnoxiously loud. The dude only went and beat up a literal baby for trying to give him a hug. I guess it is kind of hard to accurately judge a hideous giant monster's age though. After reported sightings of a monster destroying Bellwood, the alien force tracks the beast down to the desert. Not knowing Tiny is actually just a big baby monster, Ben transforms into Humongosaur and delivers the most brutal, savage punch I've ever seen in this entire franchise. Ben triples in size and makes the baby run away in fear. Gwen traps it with her force shields, but it breaks through them and grabs her like King Kong. After noticing the monster's childlike facial expressions and how it submitted to her so easily, Gwen figures out that the monster is just the baby. As Tiny was a baby all along, Ben will be getting charged with child abuse instead of assault, and that near-lethal punch is gonna earn him 15 years in the clink and a hefty $10,000 fine. I don't know how he's gonna sleep at night knowing what he just did. Probably like a baby. Ben likes burgers and Sumo Slammer cereal, but what about his aliens? What do they like to eat? Well, I can only assume Toepic eats toes and Wrath eats Frosties with steroids sprinkled on top. I know that Big Chill's pregnancy cravings made him mad about metal. Yep, Ben got pregnant. Very weird. Writers probably on drugs when they wrote this one. But still gotta talk about it. Save the Last Dance opens with Ben transforming into Big Chill and saving 2 student drivers from driving off a bridge. The kids thank the mysterious alien for saving them, but instead of saying you're welcome or be careful next time, Ben starts eating their car. Hey, what do you think you're... He blacks out and has no memory of the disgusting incident the next day and goes to Julie for help after finding a piece of car stuck in his teeth. She agrees to follow him when he next transforms and write down a record of everything he does, and boy is Ben gonna feel embarrassed when he learns that she saw him head on over to a burger restaurant and eat a tray, a buzzer, a pole, the restaurant's entire outdoor seating area. What means? Ruth, we definitely have a problem here. And even the guy on the roof. Don't worry, he's just a son. Seems only interested in eating metal. Ben wakes up the next morning in the middle of nowhere, feeling terrible, surrounded by scraps and scraps of metal. Later that day, he meets up with Julie and she reads the horrifying list of stuff he gobbled down yesterday. He then transforms back into Big Chill and flies away to eat more metal at a foundry. After his delicious meal gets rudely interrupted by the cops, Ben flies away again, but not to eat this time. No. This time it's to give birth to 14 babies. They left the nest pretty dang fast. Also, I'd love to see a baby Echo. It'd be like so adorable. I mean, hey, look, if we're doubling down on the whole baby idea. When Big Chill transforms back into Ben, Kevin informs him that he's now a dad, and a pretty rare one, too. Necrophrygians like Big Chill only reproduce about once every 80 years, and they do so asexually, by the way. Thought that's an important note. And then they feed on solar plasma. Doubt you'll ever see them again, Mommy. Cut it out. Should have figured it out from your pickle cravings. Actually, Kevin, Ben will never be seeing any of his family again unless it's through a visitation barrier. He committed massive amounts of criminal damage to satisfy his pregnancy cravings. He ate a car, bus, car wash sign, car wash, the Foundry, basically 50% of that burger place, 6 counts of criminal damage will earn Tennyson 18 years in the big house, plus a bank-breaking fine of $300,000. Guys, we're at the halfway mark now, and his prison sentence is already at 69 years and 6 months long, with a jaw-dropping fine of $2,683,000 so far. But stick around for these next crimes, guys, because I can't even begin to tell you how insane they really get. There are so many incredible aliens in the Omnitrix for Ben to choose from. Feedback is a personal fave of his, and Echo and Grey Matter are also always adorable picks. But there are some aliens inside the Watch that aren't so cool or cute and are actually a danger to Ben and the public by merely existing. Topic, for example, is so freaking hideous that Ben can become terrified just by looking at his reflection, and others can turn ghostly white or just straight up vomit upon seeing his ugly face. Then there's Heat Blast, a truly toxic guy who pollutes the air anywhere he goes, increasing the risk for lung cancer for everyone within proximity to him. Knew I should have bought those asbestos seat covers when I had the chance. Tennyson would definitely get away with having a body of fire and an unfortunate face if he was born that way, but since he chooses to take these forms that can affect other people's health, charges of public health endangerment have been brought against him, and if convicted, he'd be spending 20 years in jail and fined $30,000 for his 2 very health hazardous aliens. The Omnitrix obviously allows Ben to transform his scrawny little self into powerful aliens with awesome abilities. It sounds super cool, because it is. The Watch came with alien forms already stored in its database, so how did Ben unlock the others? Well, for one, the Watch has a capture mode, and Ben simply needs to scan the DNA of an alien to add it to his collection. But these DNA samples sure as hell aren't taken consensually. Take the episode of Prison Number 775 is Missing, for example. Ben captured the fugitive alien and sent him away with the plumbers and handcuffs, right after swiping some of his DNA to add to the Omnitrix, of course. Alien DNA scanned and recognized. Merlini Sapiens, unlocked and available on playlist 5. Hey guys, check it out. Overkill! Well? Another example is Ghost Town, where Ben absorbs the scare into the Omnitrix and unlocked Ghost Freak. Ben has committed at least 62 acts of DNA theft in total, and surprisingly, stealing another person's genes is considered less serious than snatching cereal. So Ben would be facing 6 months in jail and a $750 fine. But remember, he committed 62 counts of this, so altogether, that's 31 years and $46,500 in fines. Why does Ben even want so many aliens anyway? Like, aren't the 10 Azimuth gave him in season 1 good enough? Nah, it's never enough. It'll never be enough. After absorbing too much DNA from the Ultimatrix, Kevin mutated into Ultimate Kevin, went totally insane, and started to wreak so much havoc that in the 2-part episode Absolute Power, Ben felt he had no other option than to take him out permanently. Part 1 opens with Kevin and Ben fighting in a field. After an intense battle, Kevin comes out on top and flies away, declaring that Tennyson's time will come. Shocked by how monstrous his friend has become, Ben sees only one solution to this nightmare. He must kill Kevin, and he's never gonna stop. Unless I stop it. For good. Back home, Ben asks Gwen to track Kevin down, but she won't play a single part in this murder of their friend and wants to at least try to save him. It's a little disturbing how quick he jumps ship without even making one single attempt to help Kevin, honestly. But anyway, Gwen fights Ben, and despite him basically saying her powers suck compared to Chroma Stone, he's always so humble, Gwen melts him into the ground. Ben then takes on a stronger form and sends his cousin flying into the walls of the house. She continues pleading with her cousin to spare Kevin, but the fricker will never listen. Some friend you are. You won't even try to help him. What if it was you? I'm not going to argue with you anymore, Gwen. And if you thought that was cold and heartless, just wait till you see our hero Ben literally try and burn his own cousin alive. Gwen would have died a very painful death had she not put the force field around herself in time. And I thought Kevin was supposed to be the monster. Ben goes on a seriously sociopathic rant about how Gwen lost the fight because she cares about hurting him, and he won because he doesn't care. Grandpa Max really raised a psycho, huh? The scene then perfectly cuts to Ben savagely assaulting a group of Forever Knights in a warehouse for not telling him where Kevin is. Gwen catches up with her cousin, stops him from beating up Vulcanus, and then from trying to punch the lights out of Darkstar for just daring to show his face around him again. Michael says he can cure Kevin with a remaining piece of the destroyed Dominus Librium he has. It sounds like a good idea, right, Ben? You're kidding me, right? Gwen's already wasted enough time trying to find a cure for Kevin. It's too late for that. Every moment he's on the loose is a moment too long. Now for the last time, are you going to help me find Kevin? We don't see Ben follow up on his death threats until part 2 when he tries to unalive Kevin with a wall of sound waves. But I can't let you hurt anyone else. Ben, you promised we'd try it my way first. Yeah, I lied. He survives and shoots back at Ben with his own sound waves before trying to crush him with a literal tank. Ben goes all in for the kill again, promising to off his friend in the most quick and painless way possible. I don't believe anything that this psycho says for even a second. Sonic! Kevin is knocked unconscious and Gwen stops Ben before he finally finishes their friend for good. In the end, Kevin turned back into his old self and embraced Gwen with a passionate kiss. It was a happy ending, but for Ben, not so much. He committed 3 counts of attempted murder in that 2-parter. His first victim was Gwen with the molten lava, then he tried to finish off Kevin twice. The penalty for the crime can be as high as 24 years, that's 72 years Ben is heading straight to the slammer for. He's also got himself a totally affordable $3 million fine to pay too. I guess that's what he gets for being such a heartless jerk though. Ben's sole purpose in life is to kick alien butt, and while most of his battles can be justified by self-defense, sometimes he just savagely attacks characters who don't even try to throw one punch back. In Absolute Power Part 1, for instance, when Ben was trying to track down Ultimate Kevin, he used his powers of levitation to beat up a bunch of Forever Knights for not sharing Kevin's location, as we've established. Where is the... And as I literally just said, he tried to get information out of Vulcanus using even more brute force than last time. That was not cool, nor was beating the crap out of the Esoterica for spying on him. There. Come on, Gwen. Where else? Over there. On Kevin's left. There. Over there. In front of me. Your left. Your other left. How you do it? That's the last of them. Or dismembering a shape-shifting Limax's hand. For approximately 25 counts of assault, Ben would be looking at 800 years in prison and an absolutely staggering amount of fines of $18,750,000. But at least we know he's tough enough to survive in prison. Nobody would dare mess with him, especially if he transforms into Rat. Ben has zero issues with using lethal force against aliens, or even his best friend. And while Tennyson might have gotten the green light for killing aliens who were trying to kill him, there's a bunch of characters he's killed without acting in self-defense. Like those 3 cops who rightfully tried to stop Big Chill from eating a whole foundry. Or how about in Camp Fear when he killed an entire fungal force army? What just happened? then just happened. Judging by the size of that alien army, I think 103 is a pretty good estimation of Ben's murder count here. While life sentence for murder could be as high as 48 years, so that's 4,944 years this mass murderer is going to be locked up for. All of his life savings would have been used up paying off like 0.1% of his gigantic $103 million fine. I'm so used to seeing Ben as a 2D character that watching the CGI movie Ben 10 destroy all aliens just didn't really sit right with me. And speaking of things that feel wrong, Ben did something in this movie that was so catastrophically insane, it's honestly difficult for me to put into words. But I sure as hell will try. When a Toka star goes on a rampage through the city destroying anything it can with its big feet and fists, Ben transforms into way big and battles his opponent, virtually destroying the entirety of Bellwood in the process. The Toka Star turned back into tiny azimuth before the other half of the city could also be destroyed. And I bet the people who lived on that side of town thanked their lucky stars. Had they been unfortunate enough to get caught in between Ben and Toka Star's fight, they would have been dead meat. I estimated at least 100,000 civilians were killed in all that carnage and 100 buildings were destroyed. Manslaughter carries a maximum penalty of 25 years and the highest for criminal damage is 3. So if my math is mathing, Ben's sentence is going to be skyrocketing to a massive 2,500,300 years long, and his fine sitting at a not so comfortable 505 mil. It is just insane, isn't it? Also, rip to all those people Ben crushed during his hero time. He's a way big hypocrite. All different kinds of aliens with all different kinds of superpowers exist in the Ben 10 universe, so it's not so far-fetched for a fat guy to be able to deliver presents to every good kid on Earth in one night. In Merry Christmas, Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa stumble upon a holiday village after their air conditioning unit breaks down. The kids run off to ice skate and eat gingerbread while Grandpa sneakily helps himself to some hot cocoa. A group of elves ambush him and take him to meet the creator of the village, Mr. Jingles, who's basically a Christmas-obsessed lunatic who forces Max to become Santa Claus. Mr. Jingles presents Grandpa Santa to his elf slaves, who, by the way, are kidnapped children who were mutated into elves. The creepy guy then thanks Max for bringing his two grandkids along with him. The workshop always needs new recruits. Ben? You might want to check out your ears. Huh? Well, it looks like I'm not the only one. I so can't go elf. Pointy ears will never be in fashion. When Ben and Gwen find out what Mr. Jingles is doing to Grandpa, they sneak into the workshop to rescue him. And they need to do it fast, because right now he's being subjected to only the most brutal, evil, medieval torture in history. Stop. No. Here. No, not that, please. No. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Ben must destroy Mr. Jingles' jingulator to lift the curse. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. To lift the curse on the village and stop his magic from controlling everything. After sneaking into the workshop disguised as a rare type of reindeer from Europe, Ben throws a spit-up Sally doll at the reindeer to create a distraction, transforms into gray matter, and climbs inside the jingulator. Shuts off the machine's power source, lifting the magical hex over the village. Then all the guards turn back into inanimate objects, and Grandpa gets freed from the control of Mr. Jingles. The magic was also needed to make the reindeer fly, so now Christmas is ruined and no toys will be delivered to the children of the world. But who needs Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer when you got Stink the gassy alien? Bolt down! Christmas in summers? Ben flies Grandpa on his elf all around the world delivering presents to happy children. If Santa existed in the real world, he'd sure be arrested for trespassing on people's properties, but this video ain't about that. I mean, neither does Ben exist in real life, but anyway, he's getting charged with crimes The Tennysons covered the whole world in one night. The population of kids globally is about 2 billion, and assuming only a quarter were actually on the nice list, and that's being generous, Ben could be sentenced to 250 million years in jail and fined 500 billion. And there you have it, folks. Ben's crimes have earned him a total of 252,506,236 years in jail. Oh, also add 6 months in there. With a grand total, $500,632,509,500 in fines. His life's basically over, but what about these characters? Will their crimes make Ben seem like a perfect model citizen by comparison? Click the screen to find out.